Welcome to the No Exit Experience, Mark II, where everyone gets a chance to talk and no one is excluded with the exception of those who trample on the speech of others. It is a show where all topics are welcome and no one is censored from giving their honest views on those topics. If you can handle that, get on the bus. You're in for a wild ride. My name is Jason and I'm the bus driver, but riding the bus this day are Vanessa, Richard, Robbie, and on the tiller is Tom Mountbatten Windsor. So,
are we sure the audio's good now? Okay.
How do I look?
Beautiful. You're always look beautiful.
With your eyes.
Very stately.
I told the Microsoft joke, didn't I tell that already? You're in an airplane. Okay, I'll do it at the end.
Huh?
He said, "How do I look?" And I said, "With your eyes." You know, a literal
that's
answer.
good. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. That. So that was the one that I was talking about, 1999 and 2001, which intimated medical errors.
So you were talking about, well, no one's going to know what we're talking about, so we might as well not take this topic.
Right, you better go back to it or something.
But for all those people who just joined us, we did do the show, but the audio wasn't working. We went through the first topic, and
what if there are three
Yes,
of
we
them?
were
And
using
it's
the F
gone.
word.
It's gone into the ether.
We were using the F word. We were swearing at each other. We were throwing punches.
Shut your hole.
so there, you know,
Which one?
the nemesis of the Bills for many years was Tom Brady, and then Tom Brady retired.
Yes.
And then he said, I want to be an announcer. So he gets a job as an announcer. He gets a job as a head of on the board of a football team.
The Raiders.
Yeah, and people are saying, you know, you really shouldn't be an announcer if you have a stake in a football team.
I agree with that.
You know what he's going to do next? He wants to go into the World Wrestling ring and fight somebody.
That's idiotic.
He wants to wrestle? Is
Yeah.
he old now?
He's
I like what
Wow.
the title of the article. Tom Brady never saw a paycheck he didn't want to cash.
Yeah, and I mean, the guy couldn't scramble to save his life. I mean, and the thing is, sure, it's all kayfabe, it's all scripted, but it still takes a beating on your body.
Well, there's a lot of former football players that went in there, like this guy named Baron Corbin. He used to play football, and he's in the WWE. But Brock Lesnar made a mistake. He went from going to the WWE, then to football, and he got cut immediately, and then
He couldn't make the team,
MMA.
huh?
He just didn't. He wasn't a player, you know, so he didn't fit the mold that quickly.
But
That-
according to what Vanessa said, Mick Foley, right? Mm-hmm. He got severely injured doing these wrestling stunts.
Mm-hmm.
He took a beating, like especially in the Hell in the Cell, when the Undertaker threw him off the Hell in the Cell. His body just nailed the announce table that was on the floor. He messed up his hip pretty bad.
And didn't he eventually die of his injuries?
No, he's still alive.
Mick Foley's still alive. They've had more suicides than they've had deaths.
He
from.
just had to retire early because
I see.
But like, there's a show that's on TBS called, and it's produced by WWE, called Everything on the Menu with Braun Strowman. This guy is 6'8" and 345, but he's not fat. I mean, he's muscle.
I mean, is it a cooking show? Or?
No, he goes to restaurants. But he's a retired wrestler. He wrestled for 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
But Tom Brady at 45, I mean, these guys, they show Braun Strowman getting thrown by The Undertaker. The guy weighs 345 pounds, and the Taker picks him up and throws him. Dude.
And the Undertaker was not that young. He wrestled for over 30 years.
And Big John Studd or Blackjack Mulligan or, you know, Bruno Sammartino, those were the last generation, and then as it moves up, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But pro wrestling's been scripted since the late 20s, early 30s. That's why, like, Gorgeous George, oh, no, who was Frank, was it Frank, not Gary, Frank, what's his name, who won 6,200 matches and lost 33. I mean, you know, and he had this dummy full of springs in like the head that he would practice his chokehold on, which you can't do that anymore. You can't choke.
Is that true?
Yeah.
What
Any
about
other moves?
Can you do a headlock?
Well,
Yeah, but it's got to be like this. It got to be under the chin. It can't be right here because then
yeah, you'll knock him out and that's why it used to be when the referee did this, that meant a real injury.
Yep.
But then that was adopted into that they made that more into the story. So I don't know what they do now.
So the referee had to come up with a code to let the medical professionals
Yeah, the
know.
people that are watching, because
I did not know. That makes sense.
Well, do you know what a no-sell is? If James Walker was here, he knows all this stuff. You know too.
Yeah.
That no-sell is when I go to throw you and you're dead weight. You don't help me. You don't help me. So I'm trying to pick you up and I can't unless you help me. That's a no-sell, when somebody just stands there and
So the wrestlers communicate with each
Oh,
other.
absolutely.
I'm okay
They
with
have
this
to.
stunt. You're okay with that stunt.
yeah.
They do it before, and then they do it during the matches. They'll say, "We're doing this move. We're doing this move."
Are they like ballerinas, but dudes?
Somebody just walked in the back door.
There's Jim Prey.
It's Invaders from
Go.
Mars.
Wow.
It could be Invaders from Mars.
It was me.
And so that's why. But what I find interesting is, even though it's all scripted, it's going to be possible to bet on WWE.
Wow. And on
I
those
think-
betting platforms?
At like the sports
Yeah,
bar.
they are doing that, and it's on ESPN too.
So a wrestler,
Oh,
Also-
Ocho.
a wrestler could tell his relative, I know I'm going to lose.
Right, and that's like
Yeah.
those Kalshi or the Polymarket.
Yeah.
That you work for the president and then you bet on what he's going to do because you know it. You know you're the one who does it. Like
It shows what a mental illness gambling is.
Oh yeah. Well, the gambling, sex, cocaine, alcohol, gambling,
Yeah.
all the
Rock and
same.
roll.
They
There was,
prey on addiction,
Yeah.
especially the lottery and state-sanctioned gambling and casinos.
there was a guy at the casino that I remember one of the floor managers saying that guy's a bad gambler. I thought he was a drunk. Mm-hmm. He was like strung out. He looked like a meth head, but he was just his gambling. I mean, I hadn't seen somebody that bad.
Yeah, my stepfather, he was a big-time alcoholic, and then he transferred that onto being a gambling addict, and that's what actually killed him. So all his alcoholic tendencies went into gambling, and then he gambled everything away.
Oh, so he stopped drinking, but then he went to gambling?
Yeah, and then he went back to
Fascinating.
drinking.
Well, there's the old saying. You know what there is at every Alcoholics Anonymous meeting? A full ashtray and an empty coffee pot.
It's true.
Does that have anything to do with gambling?
I'm not
Addictive behaviors.
addiction.
Addictive behaviors.
Nicotine, caffeine, yeah, like the
See,
Yeah, that-
addictive behavior.
yeah. If you're a, it is an addictive behavior. They'll have the same root.
I
It
mean,
just manifests
you know,
differently.
Lady Macbeth, out damn spot. The people that can't clean the spot, the invisible spot, they clean obsessively. That's
Right.
another addictive behavior. That's, and it's related to, but not the same as obsessive compulsive disorder, because that is separate, but it's also in the nucleus accumbens, which has to do with satisfaction, or because a little bit of dopamine is good, a lot is even better. So, but yeah, but also it's what you think. You know what I mean? Because like I don't get any joy out of gambling. It doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
If I had the same amount of money and I could spend it on beer, that's what I'll do. Whereas the people that have the joy or the anticipation, even though everybody to a person, they keep track of who bets what there, And I said, is anybody in the black? I said, nope, they're all red. Everybody's a loser there. Everybody at the casino, period, full stop, is a loser, monetary loser. And it's like the people that say, wow, I hit it at the track. I won 40 grand, notwithstanding that you've spent 60 grand this
Right.
year getting there.
Yeah, like my stepfather, he won $60,000. Once went through it like water, won $20,000 again. It didn't matter because he spent close to $1 million by that point on losing.
And the reason why, at Buffalo Creek, they don't have a mall. They don't have so no shopping, no hotel, no golf course, no amenities. The restaurant is open short hours, and they're not that good. And there are there's like 5 people that have a black outlined card, because the cards are different colors. But the black card with the gold outline are for the highest turners. They're just spending the most money, but they don't get anything for it. Like when you get comp in Vegas, if I could have a free room at the Bellagio, you're damn right,
You mean usually there's like a mall attached to a
Well,
casino?
there's amenities.
Yeah.
Amenities.
And what does that mean?
Things that for diversion, like
Perks.
yeah, like high-end shops, something to do when you're not gambling.
Oh, okay. So there's stores you can go shop at.
Or like the
Or restaurants, or like down at Allegheny, they have a golf course there.
or like the MGM Grand had like an indoor amusement park, I believe.
They had an indoor amusement park,
Yeah.
and it was attached to a casino.
Yeah.
inside the casino.
Yeah, the hotel, and that's the thing. Like Mandalay Bay, I was there for my conference. So do you remember in 2017 when there's that shooter in Vegas that from the
Yes, he was shooting from a room, right?
Yeah, you want to know? 2 weeks before, 3 weeks before, we were on that same floor. We were a couple rooms down. Yeah, and we're like, what the hell? Because ASAP was there, and then as soon as we left, Barrett Jackson came in with all the cars, and then after they got out, then the country music thing. That dude was on the same friggin' floor. Oh my goodness, that's scary as hell. So, but when I was there, I gambled $5 and I cashed out for 25 cents. That's what I mean. That was my extent of gambling. I spent $7,000 that week, and $5 was gambling.
So there was a woman who had a show here on Think Twice, and she worked for the Arts Council of the city of Buffalo, and the Arts Council would say, "Oh, there's a conference of Arts Council people in Pittsburgh, so we'd like you to pay. We want to pay your way to go to the Arts Council," and they say, "Whatever you spend, save your receipts." Makes sense, right? I'm obviously you can't buy things and give them receipts, but you could have a meal, your room, etc.
Right.
Okay. So what she decided when she went there is there's so many amenities at the casino that I could go to the casino, and if you're good at it, if you ever saw the movie Hard Eight, they show you how to get the amenities. Did you ever see that movie?
No.
Oh, it's very clever because they would, for example, make friends with the pit boss, and they would say, could you tell me how I can convert this into the tokens that you play on the machines? And so you would do it, but you wouldn't get a lot. You would get a small amount. Then you would go back again, and you would go back so many times to the pit boss saying, I got to get more tokens, can you hold a machine for me, etc., that eventually the pit boss would say, I could give you a free room at this casino. Well, anyway, she knew little tricks like this, so she would get a free room, save the Arts Council some money. Except on the Arts Council, there were conservative people who wanted her out. So you know what they said? Look what she's doing with our money. She's blowing it at the casino. Even though none of the receipts that she gave them had anything to do with blowing any money. But she had what do you call that, when the court appoints your attorney?
Oh,
They took her up,
Public defender.
public defender, and they took her in for charges, right?
Ooh.
And so at the meeting, the judge said, how about, Celeste, I just give you probation, and you don't serve any time or anything, because the judge knew that this was like one of those Donald Trump type of
yeah.
one of the lawsuits,
Yeah.
no evidence, and so she said fine, because otherwise they would go to trial and it would be up to a jury, and who knows what the jury would think. So anyway, I thought that was very unfair. But you know what the Buffalo News reported?
Lies as usual.
Yes. The Buffalo News reported she was kicked off the Arts Council board for spending their money at a casino.
They love to do
She
that.
couldn't believe it.
I remember being involved with them.
In
and
other
they-
words, when they went to interview, they just went to the board. They didn't go to her.
Buffalo News was always like that. When they were coming after me for my public access shows, I remember
They
all
reported
kinds-
the city's version,
they
not your
always-
version.
They were very unbalanced. And like Trump does have a point with this whole thing with the fake news thing. Not all the time, but his concept, that's where it came from, because all these papers were like that. They were always one-sided, presenting the side they want presented and spinning the story. When I was involved in stories like that, it was always fake.
There's a great show on YouTube called the Katie Halper Show, and what she does is she interviews people who are at the scene. So if she wants to know what's going on in Iran, she will have somebody who lives in Iran and can speak English come on her show, and she'd say what's happening there today, et cetera, et cetera. And when you watch the show, you get such a clear picture of what is going on in the world. And then you go on like Google and you look at the news from Iran and you go, wow, how biased.
Right.
The U.S. Dropped so many bombs on so-and-so, and then and the other side of the story say, and Iran retaliated. That's all they say. Like, you're leaving out half of the story.
Well, and you know that's there's three sides to every story: yours, mine, the truth. And one nation says they're freedom fighters, the other nation says they're rebels. You know, for the same people doing the same fighting. Like the FARC in Colombia, the FARC guerrillas. Are they the good guys or the bad guys?
Well, history's written by the winners.
Yes.
So.
And what's the only successful slave revolt in the Western Hemisphere?
Haitian.
Yep, Haiti, exactly, 1802.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the job of the historian, is to find out whose side of the story is more accurate.
And
So you remember the Rosenberg thing? It
Yeah.
happened in 1950?
yeah. Oh, well, Julius and Ethel Rosenberg, where he was a nuclear scientist and his wife, and they were convicted of spying.
Yeah, but that's not what it was, but it's close.
Or
So what happened is the Russians got the atomic bomb, and then the government said, we got to find out how the Russians found this out, because, parentheses, they're not smart enough to figure it out on their own. Okay, so they started looking for who tipped them off, and they found the guy from the Manhattan Project. His name was Klaus Fuchs. He was sending documents to the Russians. He was sending it to he wasn't doing it directly. He was giving it to somebody, right? And they then had a way to get it to the Russian embassy. Okay? You know who that person was who they were giving it to? It was Julius Rosenbaum's brother-in-law.
Berg.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. And so, what is his name?
Rosenberg.
Rosenberg, yeah. And so they said, well, let's go check him out. Mr. Rosenberg, we're here from the FBI. We need to know if you are now or ever have been part of a communist organization. And you know what he said?
Yes.
I'm not going to tell you that. I'm not going to discuss my politics with you. And they said, if you don't, there will be consequences. And he said, I'm not going to discuss it with you. And they said, well, we have it on the advice of your brother-in-law that you are part of an organization. And he said, I'm not going to discuss it with you. So what they did is they took him to trial. So there's no evidence that he disseminated anything, but the judge found him guilty. Then the original person, he suddenly had a new memory about giving his brother-in-law the secrets. And he said to the FBI, you know, I just remembered a lot of times when I went into the apartment of my brother-in-law and to hand off these secrets for him to disseminate, his wife was in the room. Oh, his wife was in the room? Wow. So they interview her. I think her name is Ethel.
Yeah, Ethel.
Ethel, were you in the room when so-and-so came over? And she says, I was in the room when a lot of people came over to the apartment. Did you hear them discussing state secrets? I didn't hear any state secrets.
How would I know if they were?
The right wing in this country felt that was enough evidence to put her on trial. Now, the question was, what do you ask for as the penalty? And strangely enough, they asked for the death penalty for both of them on such flimsy evidence. And the jury gave them the death penalty. Now, obviously, there were people all across the United States who were protesting against this. You simply don't have enough evidence. And interestingly enough, you know the guy the brother-in-law, who was actually the one who had the state secrets? He wasn't given the death penalty. He was given 30 years in prison, which was commuted to 5 years. And they were going to go after the brother-in-law's wife. After he made his second memory improvement, his wife didn't even get charged. Tell me that wasn't a deal.
Well, remember, this was at a time where if you were black in the South, you know, an all-white jury would convict you and you'd get
Yeah.
the chair, you know, next
Yeah.
week. So willy-nilly, they were killing people left, right, and center.
Yeah.
Because that was like the kid in 1946 when the electric chair failed. He says, "Stop! You're killing me!" And his attorneys made a plea to the Supreme Court saying it's cruel and unusual punishment. You're going to execute him twice. But and in fact, it was 5-4 to put him back in the chair.
Wow.
Because was it Felix Frankfurter wrote? I think it was him that said he voted against it, saying he's already been subjected to it. But what does the death warrant say? You will be electrocuted, drugged, shot, stabbed, gassed, hung until you are dead.
They put that in the law, huh?
Well, that's what it says. The death warrant is until dead. So then, 1947, the kid went back to the chair, and it worked this time. But it was like Emmett Till, who might have whistled at a white woman, and he got brutalized, by the gang, the not extrajudicial punishment. So, a couple of Jews in New York City. There's a lot of people in the South don't have a lot of kin to that. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see.
That there's not a lot of agency. That they're far away.
I don't think they were tried in the South, but I know what you mean.
No, not them. That the Rosenbergs didn't have anything to do with all the Jim Crow in Texas and in Alabama and Mississippi.
I mean, but it's similar. You have a very biased jury.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it's looked at today as a miscarriage of justice. Because
is.
it was like the last person hanged, Ronnie Cray in the UK, because he said, give it to him. What was the name? So he didn't actually kill the guy. His brother did, but he's the one who got executed. And that was the last one, 1957.
I think it was just maybe Obama who passed the presidential decree saying it was a great injustice as to what happened to the Rosenbergs.
Yeah, and there was an A24 movie that I watched, and it was with Glenn, what's his name, the guy from Top Gun Maverick. But it was, How to Kill Somebody? About this guy is a part of blacklisted out of the family, and so he's killing all the people so that he can get
He's shooting them, you mean?
various ways of killing them.
He's a serial killer.
Yeah, because
Okay.
and then if he's the only one left, he'll get the inheritance. And but the one he gets convicted of, he didn't do. And so I'm not going to, because it was a remake of a movie from, or a book and then a movie. So Kind Hearts and Cornets, that's what was the book and then the movie.
Oh.
And then this was made into this, but it wasn't that good. I always have, because of you, I think A24 distributing, it's going to be good stuff. I don't know. It's been kind of hit and miss. They haven't all been stars. There's been a couple of duds. But I try. In the words of Macy Gray, I try. Okay, so we got to get rolling. So anything else to say about that?
I do not. Do you?
Okay, so Vanessa, liking the idea of someone versus the reality.
Yeah. Sometimes, like, especially with relationships, you like the idea of the person or what you think they are at first, then you get to know them, and it's, like, horrifying. But you like the idea. You like the idea of the relationship or the idealized version that you had in your head of that person, and sometimes it's hard to get rid of that, even when they show who they are.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Because you get to know the facade.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're in a relationship, they drop the facade and you get to see the real them.
and that's the thing. Like what I tell the women is, have whatever you want on the menu. Don't try to read my mind. Don't not eat, or don't go cheap. Have anything, because I'm not going to draw a conclusion for what you eat or don't eat.
Oh, because you're telling them I'm not forming this picture of you based on what you're presenting.
Right, because there's women that will do that. They won't eat on the date, and they'll be starving. They'll be famished, and no, that's bogus. That's bogus.
Did a dare eat?
Oh yeah, she did, which is good.
Oh,
She had wagyu both times.
wazoo?
Wagyu. The
What is that?
the top beef. The
Japanese beef, right?
yeah, the prime beef that.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean
Really expensive, good beef.
I've heard about this. There's
Yeah.
this real superior beef that comes out of Japan.
Yeah, and the Wagyu is here in the U.S., but I forgot what the name of it is in Japan. But like A5, and so she ate very well.
Where do they have this?
What was the restaurant?
That was at Russell's and at a steakhouse in Hamilton. And because the marbling is next to none. Or I mean,
Oh, you've had that steak too, and
I've seen it. No, I didn't think, I wasn't really as impressed. Because also I'm not a sirloin fan, or I got to have a porterhouse or a New York strip off the porterhouse. You know what I mean? That I don't like a ribeye, and I don't like sirloin, and so, and what I had one bite of one, and at Victoria and Albert's down at Disney, and I was like, eh.
Have you ever had a good steak that you remember fondly?
There's a place like called Submasters near my place. They make Del Monte steaks.
Yeah, I don't
and they
like-
are very good, in my opinion.
The Delmonico, I don't like that cut. You know, I tried it. I never had it, and I was like, this isn't me.
Vanessa, have you ever had a memorable steak?
Yeah, Ponderosa, isn't that delightful? It's a joke. They're fucking horrible. Remember I had a really bad steak. I had a rubber steak.
Is that Celeste?
Yeah,
Hey!
Hey!
Probably having steak right now. I
Rubber
don't know.
steak. Remember Old Country Buffet? They had a carving station, and sometimes you get like. That wasn't really a sort of steak. It was sort of like a fake prime rib. It was almost like rubber. You ever eat at the Old Country Buffet? Probably
Buffet?
not. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about it.
I don't know that much about
It
restaurants.
ain't around anymore, but
Yep.
Well, I
that
mean,
place was fun.
Oh, Celeste. Oh, was that in the last show or in this show?
I
where
can't
we-
really talk. I'm in the battleground with a bunch of kids that are. Oh yeah, just put them right there.
Did she get you all the?
Turn her down a little. She's way louder than us.
Yes, she bought it for the salad. These are the wings and the other pizza.
Did I reference
Okay.
Celeste in this show or the show that didn't get
No,
aired?
this one. You were
Oh,
this one.
earlier in the show,
The mom
Celeste.
to the girl who's over there. She'll be back.
Celeste.
Hi.
Earlier in the show, I talked about how you were unjustly accused by the right-wing people on the Arts Council, and how the Buffalo News printed their side of the story and not yours.
Oh yes, yeah. That was I don't even know how to describe the era, but I had a meeting with Margaret Sullivan, and part of my. Okay.
Trace for when going in the bus stop.
Okay, thank you. All right. Sorry, those are the people helping us in here. But it was, I didn't want to drag that out and invest in that because I have children, I had family, I was taking care of my mom. Then it would mean, from what we were saying, we had to interview the board. And I was like, no, I just want out. Just cut it short and get me out as soon as possible. And luckily, for me, I'm a paper rat, so I had a paper trail, and I was able to share my paper trail demonstrating the unjust attacks, I guess, if you could put that. That said, okay, no, this was something crazy that these people are talking about, and I just. You know how something is just too much? Like, it's just too much.
Sure.
And I want it and all of it and you to go with it gone.
well, because there's the old saying that the innocent man rushes to judgment because, if you have nothing to fear, let it be borne out in the court. Like you say, who knows what could happen with the jury? But if she has the receipts and says, I didn't steal any money, and here it is, just look at it. That's where the common sense goes in.
She taught me something I didn't know about the whole probation system. So, you show up, got to show up at the same time, like every week or however often your appointment is. And when you walk in, they got to make sure it's you.
Mm-hmm.
So what they do is they have a machine where you put your hand on it.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, okay, it's you. And then they say, you have to, we have somebody interviewing you. You got to pay the fee. So you got to pay 20 or however many dollars it is. It's like a ATM. You got to put the money in, right? Okay, the counselor will see you. Take a seat, right? So then you take a seat. You talk to the counselor. After the third time you see the counselor, you go, you check in, you put your money in. The counselor does not need to see you. You can go. She goes, this is just a cash grab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
that was like, that's how Los Angeles County makes money. Like the Fix-It tickets, and they charge you a service charge of $40.
Yeah.
So, because like when I had a headlight out, I got a ticket from Cat County Sheriff's, but it was just a Fix-It ticket. I got it fixed, and then it was relieved. And I said, "Is there a service charge?" And they looked at me like, "Huh?" Because I expected to get LA County'd, but they didn't.
You lived in L.A.?
No, no.
You were just passing through?
No, I'm saying that I knew that's what LA County does. They make their money off of the tickets.
Okay, this has got nothing to do with your personal experience.
No, and that's why I thought my ticket would have a service charge on it, but it didn't. So for my headlight,
Systems are rigged and rigged and rigged and
okay.
for some department to make money, whatever department that might be. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing that people. I can't. It bugs me how the government has been tipped over, but I understand the thesis of it. But the way it was done wasn't, because the bureaucracy. There's a lot of people. The jobs need to be done, but I don't know if they were as tight as they could be. But doing it the way that Doge did, like,
It was random. Oh,
yeah,
excuse me.
that
Hold
it's
on.
just like that.
Yeah, I had some
Well,
different quotes. 3, 5, yes, 3 boys.
Okay,
That-
thanks, Tom.
that oh yeah, that there was people that could be cut, but just staying. Well, you people from Smith on down were firing them.
Yeah.
That's not the way you do it.
The Doge way was pretty bad.
Yeah, and it didn't save any money. And I could show you the email I got from Nick Langworthy's office extolling the praises of Doge.
Oh boy.
Well, these people are trying to blame smoke. Thank you so much. Trying to blame Canada's forest fires.
Well, that's where it's
Starting
originated.
this time of year, a third of the states have forest fire. You're going to tariff them too? Just stupid.
Well, the worst air quality I saw was a couple nights ago. It was 326, that's really bad.
I couldn't breathe. I thought I was going to have to go to the hospital and get oxygen, like for real. My respiratory system's not the best.
I have an app on my phone that it tells you the air quality index.
Yeah,
Yes.
184 right now,
What's the
And-
highest it can get?
500.
500?
Yeah,
I saw that
and
too.
So I every so often I will look at it and I'll go, oh, I've never seen it that high before.
Somebody sent me a thing that says the air quality in Michigan the other day was 1,008, and I says I thought it went to 500. So what's it really go to?
Yeah, it's 500. I
Okay.
mean, like, it's like
Well, they're-
a wind chill above 45 miles an hour. You can't be chilled anymore.
Yeah, so so I would be looking at it, and the highest I'd ever seen was on the 4th of July because of all the smoke in the air. It was up to, and it gives it for your neighborhood. So my neighborhood, it was 179. To my astonishment, look at what it was this morning. Tom, can you put a VIN 9 for me, please? Look at that.
oh, wow.
A new high.
Yeah.
Ooh, one away from 200. Let's see if we can get there.
Well, what's interesting about that is since, the Midwest, the South, and the East Coast have way more forest fires. I've been to New Mexico when they had a forest fire in California. And this to me is like not that much. I can taste it, I can smell it, but having been in New Mexico and in Nevada when it was on fire there, it's gray, it's thick, you can wipe your skin from it. So, we're not used to it. I think that's the significant problem, because it's not something we're accustomed to. But there are far worse places in the United States that have forest fires that impact us as people way more than this fire in Canada. And they can't control that. How can we control the forest fire? A lot of things would be different,
How can humans ever get used to smoke inhalation, though?
They
don't-
can't.
Point,
They
good
can't.
Point, yeah.
That
yeah.
doesn't make
But
sense.
one thing to know, though, is generally oxygen is corrosive. We are very fortunate that we breathe it, because if anybody came from another planet, they'd probably corrode and they'd start to melt, and nitrogen only less so. That we're very fortunate that we're breathing the poison air that others.
Yeah, like the
I
plants give it
kind of had a good laugh about, how we got the weather app on our phones, and it says 80 degrees and smoke. I'm like, oh, that's a good forecast. What the heck does that mean? And I'm just,
the end times. It's
And,
Soylent Green
But
days.
there's a, what is it, the jack pine? But fire, it needs fire to germinate. Fire is natural. Forest
Oh,
fires are
right.
natural, and these fires were started by lightning strikes. But that's when they cut cutbacks. If you have like 100-foot wide of just cut down grass or scrub, then the fire stops because there's nothing to burn.
Well, there's I take the view that there's so much carbon in the atmosphere. The healthy layer of carbon is what is it, 265 parts per million.
I don't know what the number is.
So if you have that, 265, you have a stable climate. Anyway, they check the parts per million every year. They're already past 320.
Yeah.
So there's just too much carbon in the atmosphere. And
Yeah.
personally, I would like to see the amount of carbon put into the atmosphere cut down.
Well,
And so we have a president now who doesn't want electric cars.
Well, what good do those
He
do?
doesn't
Some
want,
of them
he
use
doesn't want solar, he doesn't want
Yeah.
wind, he doesn't want geothermal.
electric cars
money
make no
talks.
sense. Electric cars don't make any sense. You have to charge them, and the electricity to charge them can be worse than the gasoline you're putting in a gas car.
It's
No,
a
not
quarter,
true,
it's,
not
less
true, not
efficient.
true.
yeah, it's a
especially-
quarter
My
of it.
sister
I
and
don't
my niece
agree.
both have electric cars. Both of them have electric cars, and they prefer it.
Electric
actually
cars,
over.
they're also a good way to control the populace because if you got to get away and you can't charge a thing, you got a gas engine, you can get away if you have a can of gas or something stored somewhere. If you got to get away and go somewhere, if they turn off the grid
an
and you
electric car,
can't
you have to
charge
really
your
get
car,
the
you can't
balance.
get away.
but that's
That's part of it.
people
Control.
in Southern California with solar. They can sell
They sell
their power back to Cal whoever.
yeah.
Is it Con Ed out there? Who do they have? But they can sell it, and they can likewise charge. And you're saying this unilateral electric cars. Well, what about the Stanley Steamer? 115 years ago, that was efficient. It was a steam engine.
Yes, that was great.
That steam engines were efficient until they weren't, and we found more. The reason why railroads tried GTEs, gas turbine engines, jet engines in the 60s. They weren't as efficient. BMW tried a hydrogen car about 15 years or 17 years ago, wasn't as efficient. You know, and you just got to
Right.
find what's most efficient.
Wasn't there supposedly a car that could run on water and like they
Yeah, steam.
you know,
Steam
they
car.
bought the
That was
car companies bought the patents and like killed it.
Well, no, similar. What happened
like-
is Henry Ford is making the Model T. His plan was to make it using steam, right? He got a call from John D. Rockefeller, and Rockefeller is into oil. And Rockefeller said, I will, and of course he made a deal with them, if you convert it to gasoline, such and such good things will happen to your company, et cetera, et cetera. And imagine if Henry Ford had said no.
Oh, right. Rockefeller, he also instituted the education system as we know it
Yeah.
to make people good, compliant factory drones. But we don't have any factories anymore or any manufacturing, so sticking to that system makes no sense anymore. They want people just smart enough to be able to run machinery, but not smart enough to really think for themselves. And that's what the school system's still based on here. Rockefeller
I'm
cooked
going to
that
have
up.
to leave you guys because the
Okay.
kids are coming back and the food is here. But I just want to holler and say, hey,
Hey,
listen,
all righty.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night, Celeste. Good talking to you.
thank you. Good to see you guys.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye, Celeste.
That I turned a jaundiced eye to this black and white way you're saying it. It's complete. No, it's not completely out because there's 360 million people in this country. That the education system fits most, but not all. But there's also look at the people in San Francisco when they gave people housing, 60% or 70% stayed. They didn't become homeless. That means 3 out of 10 still wanted to be on the streets.
I'm talking about the core inception behind the original intent of the education system as it is now. That's what I'm talking about.
Well-
and that comes from Rockefeller back then, and the intent was to have a controlled populace that were just educated just enough and programmed just enough to be good like assembly line workers or whatever they wanted. And now there's no assembly lines here and manufacturing's not here and it's not coming back. So why do we still use that model to indoctrinate
Well,
and program the
yeah.
most of the populace for something that's not even there anymore?
Right, right. Some teachers do and some don't. you know?
Yeah, and I think that this really education is its own thing. You know,
I'm
and
talking
that's,
about grammar school and high school or the useless parts of education. What do you really learn there that's of much use?
how about math?
Yeah, history.
You got calculators. Computers can do that for you. A history, it's fake, and it's written by the winners of wars or political movements. Whoever's in power, like you don't really get a true version of history ever if you think about it.
Well, I mean, you have to. It depends on the historian
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
I mean, you
I
think
mean-
Ken Burns is full of shit?
never bothered to think about that. Could be. The Times. No one's 100% accurate.
That's one of the things that Ken Burns tries to do. He tries to see all sides of the story when he
Yeah.
does one of his documentaries.
Like, and that's why they're so long. Like, country music was 10 parts. And I got so much out of that because the first 3 people inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame, I knew one that nobody else could name. Everybody would say Hank Williams Sr., but what about Jimmy Rogers? He was a guy that actually died from tuberculosis. And then the third guy was this dude from Nashville who was a producer, whose name I forget. That was Final Jeopardy on the first Jeopardy show in 1984.
Oh,
Wasn't Jimmy Reeves one of the
Jimmy Reed?
Reeves?
Jim Reeves. Jim Reeves?
Jim Reeves was
Country star that was one of the founders of the whole genre.
Didn't that come out of hillbilly string bands before
well,
that?
yeah, that was because they called it like the folk music and the black music was they called that race music or, and so that's why. But it was Jimmy Rogers with a D, Rodgers. That he was. Yeah, he coughed. He bled out when he coughed from the tuberculosis.
How old was he?
About 28, 30.
Oh, so he made a mark even though he didn't live long.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Robert Johnson. He didn't live long. He was really young.
And no, I forgot what I was going to say.
Country music.
Well, country music is what it is.
The old stuff's good, especially the hillbilly string bands like Uncle Dave Macon and the Bill Monroe, the Roots of Bluegrass. And
Okay. Let's see. What else? Oh, so liking the idea of someone versus the reality. So the reality is like never meet your heroes because you realize that they're 3-dimensional people. When you like the idea of them, it's the one-dimensional. It's the flat. It's
Right.
all the stuff you like and none of the stuff you don't. And then when you realize they're human just like we are. You know?
But some can be, it depends on the kind of human they are too. Some can be more benevolent or nice or good, or some can be horrifying. It just depends on the person too.
I haven't been horrified by anybody, although I am really dismayed by some, but I wouldn't say it's like that somebody who could smile at me then would punch me in the face. I haven't had that. I did tell that person whose name I won't divulge on the air. I said, if you want to tell me to go fuck yourself, I'll take it, you know. But she refused. She laughed at that. But I gave her the opportunity, you know.
Opportunity to what?
Tell me to go screw myself.
Oh, okay.
That's like that quote in Zoolander that Ben Stiller forgot his line. I don't know, drowning? I don't know. Did he get drunk and fall in Elk Creek?
I don't know about that story.
I don't know
yet.
anything about it, but dead people are dead. But Ben Stiller forgot his line. He says, so what does that mean? And David Duchovny just rolled with it. And he said, I just told you. But the whole idea is that Zoolander is a dope. And they played that into the movie, you know, that they kept that take. But Ben Stiller actually forgot his line. Instead, it wasn't scripted like that.
Yeah, Mick's, they found a body in the creek not too far from his house.
Yeah.
And the police checked it out, and they didn't see any signs of foul play. So they think he was up wherever, you know, the intake is for the creek, and that's where he maybe fell in and drowned, and then it just carried it all
Oh.
the way.
Yeah, that the autopsy will tell all. Autopsis. I look at myself. Doctors know everything and do nothing. Surgeons know nothing and do everything. Psychiatrists know nothing and do nothing. Pathologists know everything and do everything, but always 2 days too late. So, alrighty. So let's see. Who do we? What are Rosenhan's experiments?
Fascinating experiments took place in the early 1970s. And it went like this. Mr. Rosenhans contacted, well, he's a doctor. He says, you know, I am a psychiatrist, and I treat a lot of patients, and I'm doing a study about psychiatric hospitals. So he said, let's try an experiment. I have a staff of people who I work with, and I'm going to have them voluntarily submit themselves to your institution. And I want to see if you can spot them. Are they fake or are they real? And so I'll let you know how the results turn out. So, they're all ready for these people. So the people went in and they said, I heard voices last week. It was only one time, but I'd like you to check me out. In all 10 instances, they admitted them and they interviewed them. And that's what they said in the interview. I heard it once and it since went away. Now, the rule of a psychiatric hospital is you don't have schizophrenia unless you have 3 conditions that must be met. And one of them is recurring voices. So if you have it just one time and then suddenly it goes away, you don't have schizophrenia. But in all 10 cases, they were admitted and on their record was put down schizophrenic. And then they got eventually discharged. You want to hear something funny? So they're in with the general population, and other patients are coming up to these people and they're talking with them. You know what the other patients are saying?
You're not.
Are they saying, are you a journalist? Like, you don't really belong here.
Yeah, you don't.
And yet the doctors couldn't notice that. So guess what happened? They were all mad at Rosenhans for doing that. How dare you, call our techniques into question, how so-and-so. So 10 years later, Rosenhans said, all right, I'm going to give you another heads up. I'm going to send in 10 people, and let's see, now that you know that we've done this once before, see if you can spot them. And so what happened is all these hospitals that they were sent to, they reported back to them, and they said, we caught all 10 people, and we've discharged them. And then came the bomb. Rosenthal said, well, it was a bluff. I didn't send any people. So who did they release?
Well, what I would ask the patients is, first of all, are you hearing voices? And are they talking to you or about you? And that's the thing. You got to tease it out, because what the voices do is externalize the internal things. Because when somebody tells you, it makes it okay. It's not my fault. The voices told me.
Yeah, son of Sam.
Right. Yeah, that it's never your fault, but the voices are coming from you. And also, I asked the people, if you were hearing voices, would you tell me or would you lie to me? And that's when it would really get to it, and people would say, I probably would lie to you. No, I mean, they because for the people, for the first time, it's harrowing. The first psychotic break is
Heroin.
it's
Harrowing.
harrowing.
Oh, harrowing. Oh.
Yeah.
So, Rob, you familiar with the Son of Sam?
So I watched some of the movie, but not a lot of it.
David Berkowitz said that
His dog
his dog,
telling him to kill people.
the devil,
boy.
the devil entered his dog, and but also if you remember,
Wasn't him?
that 50 years ago, there wasn't a lot to do. All they had was Thorazine still at that time, or they had benzos, or they had barbiturates, and barbiturates are not a good thing. Everybody who died from them now. Because like the movie Blackout was in the mid 70s, and it was about a New York City blackout, and the psych people are in the back of the wagon. Like one guy says, "Hey," and then he knocks on it, and they open it, and he spits in the guy's face. So there's all these psych people, but there's one who's in a straitjacket. Do you know how many times I've ever seen a straitjacket used? Never in my career. I mean, from starting on the ambulance in 1992, I never saw anybody in a straitjacket ever, and that's what they were doing in the 70s.
Well, did you ever see people who were trying to harm others?
I only saw that once, and homicidal mania is scary as shit. I'm telling you, that is scary.
I mean, because that was what the police said about Rodney King. They said, you wouldn't believe how strong he was because he was on was he on cocaine?
I thought he was PCP'd.
Okay, PCP. They said that sometimes you take these psychotic drugs and your strength.
But it's unsustainable. It's like you're getting the most you can, but the light that burns twice as bright lasts half as long.
Sure.
And so you're going to try to live something, but your bones can't take it.
Yeah, it doesn't make you into Superman.
Right.
Well, temporarily. And
Indeed.
Then,
And that's the thing that was like the Duke cath table. They nominally say that it could hold 350, but they had a 700-pound patient, and so the Duke cardiologist researched the specs, called the manufacturer. They said failure is about 4 times as much. So 350 failure is about 28 or or 1,400 pounds. So he took 750 pounds of fellows. He took 3 cardiology fellows, put them on a scale, weighed out how much they were, and made them. Now, these are people that have finished residency. They're in fellowship. They're highly trained, and he's making them sit on instead of med students, cardiology fellows sit on this table while he cantilevers it around and moves it. Since it didn't break, then they knew that, and they said, now Duke has a 700-pound cards table because it didn't fail. And, that's like the fail-safe. So that's what we got. And now, okay, we'll give you a topic, Robbie. So bison attack at Yellowstone.
So I guess his grandpa and his grandson, they were at a safe distance taking a picture of the bison and that. But I guess it's mating season for the bison. The bison got up, ran around, and started chasing the grandfather. And once he caught up to the grandfather, nailed him. He went up in the air, just barely, like maybe scrubbed the tree, and came down and hit, broke his femur. Luckily, and nothing else. But man, that was like a crazy picture. But I think the bison was trying to tell the grandfather something, because his grandson was wearing a Dolphins uniform.
Oh, that's white people being stupid because they weren't a safe distance. Ipso facto, if the bison got to him, he wasn't a safe distance.
Well,
away.
they were saying that they were about 25 yards away, taking a picture.
Do you know how much a king bison can weigh?
Oh, they were
yeah.
done.
A ton, a literal ton. They can run into the side of your vehicle and flip it up on its wheels and back down.
Sure.
I mean, and because white people do the stupidest stuff. I've said this because I'm a white guy, because I was that person that it's like people in Hawaii. The white people say, oh, feel this shark. The skin is so smooth this way, but it's rough when I do it here. Or I can put my arm all the way into my shoulder. Why would you put your arm in a shark's mouth? And when you see the natives getting out of the water, you should too. And that happened to us when we were in Alaska 9 years ago. There's a road, but the walkway on the side, it was more of a nature walk, but it was a sidewalk. It was paved, it's a real thing. There's a moose that's maybe 100 feet away. The locals turn around and go. We said, oh, that's cool. And we became the stupid white people.
What happened?
Well, we didn't get charged, thank heavens. But, it's like the people at Yellowstone or at Yosemite that with the bison, and they say, oh, look how docile it is. No, it's a wild animal. You don't go up and pet it.
A number of people were sending me that story. They were asking me for my interpretation of it. And because there's so many interpretations. Somebody painted on a Buffalo Bills helmet, like right next to the buffalo, they painted the guy flying through the air, and they put it on social media and said, this will be the new Bills helmet for the upcoming year. And my friend said, that isn't really true, is it? I said, no, it's not. But my interpretation of the story is this. The guy who took that picture, and it's like the bison almost got pissed off that the guy was taking the picture. Did you notice that?
Do we have the picture at all?
I'm sure Tom can look up the video of the guy
that'd be
being
great.
launched in the air. So, so the guy who did that, he took the picture. Now, he falls into one of two categories. Either he's someone who likes to take pictures, or he's a photographer. And you'll be able to tell the difference by when he gets out of the hospital. If he never takes another picture of wildlife again, that means he's one of those people who likes to take pictures. He learned his lesson. He's not going to do it again. If he's a photographer, he will do it again, because that adds meaning to his life that cannot be taken away without suicide, madness, or murder, right? Mm-hmm. He needs to do it. And to me, that is the purpose of that story.
And what I say is, all you got to do is wait. It's just like they say, if you're in Times Square, wait 10 minutes, you'll see somebody you know. Wait 10 minutes at a national park that has wild animals, and you'll see some white guy do something stupid.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they're wild animals. I mean, come on, what do you expect?
You can't fault them. It's like you fault the snake for biting you or the scorpion for stinging you.
But
That's what they do.
I was telling my boss that the Bills should sign that bison for defense. Put him at middle linebacker.
You know what's worse than getting thrown? Getting gored.
Yeah.
Look at the people in the bull fights in Spain.
Yeah.
You know what? I always root for the bull to win. When you see some dude get launched in the air with the bull horn in his crotch, that's what you get.
I don't want to go near a rhino either.
Well, you play stupid games, you win
Oh,
stupid
here's
prizes.
the guy. Here's the guy.
Great.
Oh no, is that it?
No,
No, that must be a different one.
It's a different instance. Well, highlight
But
reel. Find another
That's
one.
the thing, that there's enough of them, people doing stupid shit.
yeah, there was one girl that would try to. There was a buffalo bison laying on the ground, and she goes by it, pets it, and the buffalo bison don't touch me, or else I'm gonna attack.
There's a ranch in Nebraska that will do a king bison hunt, but you have to have taken one of the big five before. They want to know that you can a Cape buffalo, or well, you can't hunt rhino or but like a Cape buffalo or a water buffalo, something else of a elk is not enough because you're screwing with the real deal. When you go out these bison in the wild, I mean, all they are huge, muscular, concrete trucks that are full of epinephrine and testosterone, and they would love nothing better than battle with you in winning.
Maybe Hegseth should get him for the army.
Now, what'd you think about that story?
That's idiotic.
The
That shows you,
testosterone.
What about those
There it
There
is.
we go.
And it's good.
good.
America's funniest home videos.
And the kick is good.
Wow. That's
3 points.
like a
Thank you,
football.
Tom.
Human football.
Heads or tails.
So Pete Hegseth is saying that if your testosterone level is low, he doesn't say how you know if it's low.
You're going to
But
test it.
If you know it's low, and then you can, you are entitled to free testosterone shots. What about the people who there's nothing wrong with their testosterone, and they say, I would like a shot? What's
Get-
that going to do to their
get
brain
roided up.
chemistry?
well,
all kinds of
yeah, that's
crazy-
because everything that you have in your body, when you take it from the outside, the body dials down making it. So if that's why the problem we have with
Oh,
steroids that and if they're doing testosterone shots, they should allow trans people in too because
That's
it's the
right.
same deal.
There's
And
gonna-
the reason why what bugs me about the trans folks is I couldn't get in when my medicine needs to be refrigerated, and so does theirs. So why can they
Unless I
get
take
in?
pills. There comes in pill form, too.
Well, I don't know how. Yeah, I'm not really big on the mechanics, but so I don't know how effective that is. I didn't know if there was. There were some that
There
were
can be pill, patch, and shot. You have different options.
indeed, and but that's the thing that because it's a lot harder to get in than well, yeah, a 50 cal, of course. That's the a 50 cal is like that. I mean,
Boy.
It's like the Avenger cannon on the A10 on the Warthog. The rounds are they're an inch wide. I mean, they will put a hole in you. They'll cut you in half, and when you get into it, that's where it's at. I mean, whatever. But I play stupid games, win stupid prizes, and that's what I see right there. It's like, what do they call it? Jumping in Niagara River, stunting.
Yep.
Because even when you do everything right, some people are still going to go over. So don't think that it's an easy evolution.
What do you
That-
mean evolution?
An evolution is any event that occurs. Like when you're going to somebody.
That's a different definition.
Well, we did it in military school. This evolution, like doing the O course, the obstacle course, and that was an evolution because it was doing it and then completing it or looking at places you could improve. And but it's something to do. It's just me being snobby. Okay, so
Well, I mean, some words have multiple definitions. So,
indeed.
yeah,
Like love. Too many definitions.
true.
Well, agape or
Yeah, or
eros.
arrows.
Someone wrote
Exactly.
that song about all the definitions
Yeah.
of love.
The things we
Who?
do
Do
for
you know?
love, walking
No.
through the rain
Yeah.
and the snow. and
10cc. You know
yeah.
why they're named that?
Now, the song I'm thinking about is, and as the years go by, true love will never die.
Mash McCon from Toronto.
Oh.
Great band. That's a good song.
Okay, well, we're running up against the clock, so I'm going to tell the Microsoft joke. So, a guy's flying in his airplane, and he's flight or visual flight rules only, and not instruments. But a huge cloud bank rolls in, and he can't see where he is. But out of his window, there's a little break, and he yells to the guy, "Hey, where am I?" And the guy says, "You're in an airplane." And suddenly he knows immediately. He makes a turn to the right 60 degrees and goes and lands, makes a picture perfect landing. And they say, "How'd you know that where you were?" He said, "Well, I knew it was Microsoft because the answer is completely true and completely useless. Have a great weekend."